Porn use. Dopamine hits from walking away. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. I'm going to tell you how to get dopamine from walking away from porn instead of from watching it. Okay, in this video, we are first going to revisit quickly why your brain is looking for a dopamine hit to feel seeming pleasure and pain reduction. Then, number 2, we're going to talk about how your brain gets the dopamine hit from porn. Then number 3, your brain tip strategy for the day, how you can get the dopamine hit from walking away instead. Okay, number 1, why does your brain look for the dopamine hit? Now, if you have seen other of my videos, I've talked about this before. When you found porn for the first time at the age of, hopefully not, it's down to 8 right now, but for most people it's at the age of 11, 12, 13, you found porn, and when you did that very first time, your brain got this deluge, this flood of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, into your brain. Now, dopamine, I call it the seeming pleasure neurotransmitter or the pleasure-seeking neurotransmitter because what it does is it associates pleasure with whatever thing you are doing at the time. So it linked the use of pornography with that huge dopamine hit in your brain that made you feel good. It took the edge off. It felt better than anything else ever before did at that ripe young age of 11 years old. Your brain got release from the world that it was living in at the time. And we know that every single family out there struggles with family dysfunction. It's just a matter of what type of family dysfunction and the magnitude. Basically, the flavor and how big of it. And when we have very large family dysfunction, it's actually trauma. And we know that many times there's physical, verbal, sexual trauma involved in a porn habit over time. So your family was struggling from dysfunction, there was some traumas that were happening, and you found this thing that literally gave your brain a massage. So we know that trauma has to do with it, anxiety, stress, boredom, the ADHD type of brain pattern. That's the brain that's looking for the edge to be taken off, and you found it and you got it. So number 2, what does porn use continue to do for your brain? It continues to do that very thing. It continues to take the edge off for you when it comes to stress or anxiety, feelings of overwhelm, feelings of boredom, and likely by now you're in the cycle. We know it exists on a cycle. You're in the cycle of not being able to break that habit from getting that dopamine drip and then flood into your system to take your cares away. Now, how can you walk away from pornography and get a similar, albeit healthier, albeit lower levels at the outset? How can you walk away from porn and get the same type of hit? Let me tell you how. Okay, so it works like this. When you muster up the courage to make the decision and 100% commit to leave porn behind, and you grieve that, and we know that grieving it can be important. You say to your pornography habit, you say to the hijacker, thank you for hijacking my brain when I was young because you really have served me and you've taken the edge off for all these years. But I don't need you to do it anymore. I'm going to take the edge off in a healthy way. Now you muster up the courage to commit to that in the first place, and you're about to sit down to watch some porn and you're about to hit the easy button, but instead you walk away. You click out, you X out, you get out of that chair and you run, not walk, to go do something else that's dopamine producing. Guess what happens in your brain? When you muster up the courage to overcome the fear or the uncomfortable feeling, the desire to watch porn, when you walk away, your brain gets a dopamine hit. Your brain rewards itself for being able to move towards those difficult feelings instead of moving away. Now, it's a little bit of a catch-22 at the beginning because when you go back into your habit and you go back into the screen, you're going to get that flood of dopamine. But unfortunately, that's going to desensitize the reward center in your brain and knock the frontal lobe offline, so you won't be able to think or remember, and you'll have brain fog and you won't be able to make good decisions. But in the short run, you're going to get that dopamine flood. And if you are able to use the courage and move past that fear and be able to embrace the moment for what it is, a growth opportunity, and you walk away and you go do something else that you love, your brain will reward itself with a littler hit of dopamine. It's not going to be a deluge or a flood, but you're going to get a hit. And if you do that over and over and over, you're going to train your brain to get hits of dopamine for making the healthy choice instead of making the unhealthy choice. And again, it might take some courage at the beginning, but it will work. So I want you to know in this video that you can get the dopamine that you're looking for by walking away. And the more you do it, the more dopamine you're going to get, and you're going to build those neural pathways for healthy release of anxiety and tension and boredom and overwhelm. And in the end, you're going to be able to ride off into the sunset, being able to think, being able to feel, being able to be rewarded by your IRL, your in real life, instead of being rewarded by a fake performance in the screen that is damaging your brain. So today, I hope that you can take the step to walk away. Don't hit that easy button. Nothing in life that is worthwhile is easy. It all comes with a little bit of growth. That's why we call them growing pains. So don't hit that easy button. Get up, get that dopamine hit from the healthy choice, go do something you love, and control your brain, or it'll control you.